Hello everyone and welcome to Brickstars. In this video we're taking a look at the latest released images of the Collectable Minifigures Series number 25. There's 12 new figures that are out. We love some of them already and we're going to go through each one of them with you in detail and see which ones we like the best. In this picture we found all 12 of the minifigures that are going to be released in the Series 25, and we're going to start off with the guy in the Triceratops outfit. So, what we see here is a person wearing a dinosaur. Now what that is maybe referencing are a few things. Firstly, a very similar dinosaur is actually available in the Jurassic Park sets, and it's a baby Triceratops. We think this looks fairly similar, especially the head and the little antlers or horns. And interesting enough, there have been two other times when dinosaurs were released in these collectible series. In 24, so the last one, there was sort of like a sand colored T-Rex that looks fairly realistic, and then way back in series 5 there was a green T-Rex, a little different shape, but nonetheless we always like to see when they release kind of series or sets that you can collect. It just adds that value and makes it for such a nice display piece when you have more than one. So we do like this one, and we thought that it really looks nice, especially the colors.
The next figure we're going to be looking at here is this blue and purple Raven figure. So this figure definitely looks like it would tie in with the Lego Chima series. We didn't collect any of those, but it was a pretty popular wave that was around for I think 10 years. It definitely reminds me of that, and I think they had a Raven faction in that series as well. So a couple cool elements here. The wings, I don't think they've appeared in purple before. It may even be a more detailed mold. I can't say for sure. What looks to be interesting is the hands and the claws. Those parts obviously we have already, but this could be a new metallic gold color, and that's something we always watch for in these collectible series is unique recolors or unique prints, and this could be one of those. So that's an element that can be used for tons of different mocks. And finally, we think the leg piece here is pretty cool as well. So anytime we have some interesting molding on the legs, interesting printing, it's a bonus. So not a figure that we'd probably collect, but lots of cool parts on this one. And again, I think it probably ties nicely into people who have a nice Chima collection.
Now we're going to take a look at the gamer girl. So as you can see here, she's holding a light-up keyboard and mouse and has some headphones around her neck. I think the hairpiece is a really cool color. You see something a little different there, and I see that she has potentially different color lipstick, or I just don't know if that's the color of the image. But what my favorite thing about this one is the shirt, because it kind of looks like the Black Falcon's logo. It references that in my opinion. At least maybe it implies it's a video game or a game based on these guys. And of course she has a big gold trophy, so clearly she won the gaming tournament there. I think this is a neat figure to add to anybody that collects a Lego City set, if you have an arcade or anything like this. And of course just a nice quirky little figure.
This might be the most anticipated minifigure of this series, and probably my favorite. Starting off with the face, definitely love the print, the mustache, the 5 o'clock shadow, definitely very medieval looking. And as you know, we're big fans of medieval, anything Lego Castle, and it's always nice to see when they include those figures. This one specifically gives me very Forestman vibes, very peasant vibes. You can see from the little coin satchel on the pants, the tunic around the neck. This is very reminiscent of the original Forestman from the 90s. As you can see here, the original torso prints and leg prints had this detail, and more recently the new Forestman and the Bard from the previous collectible minifigure series also included very similar details. So here we have it in a peasant. He does also feature a backpack, a walking stick, and not really sure what's in his other hand, but most importantly, he comes with a goat. the GOAT is back. After probably well over a decade, we see the return of the GOAT, although this version comes spotless. So there's a lot of talk online since these photos leaked what would happen to the price of the GOAT, because some of you may know the original GOATs are very expensive to buy aftermarket. So we'll see what that does to the price. This one is going to be interesting because it's spotless. And the other thing I do like about this figure is anytime they put double expression, so a backside to the face, it looks like he's taking a nap here. So probably going to have a couple scenes of him out in the field with his goat in the pasture grazing, and him taking a nap. So definitely a welcome addition to any castle collection and any minifigure display. I think he's a great looking figure and can't wait to get a couple copies of him.
For this next figure, we left all the color on. Why is that, you may ask? Well, because the figure is actually grayscale. So we're looking here at a noir style detective. Noir is a type of movie. They're all black and white. They're made in the 50s or in that era. So they have a lot of shadows and all that stuff. Of course, grayscale, which is very interesting because we don't know if Lego's ever done something like this where they've grayscaled the whole figure. But regardless, this figure comes with some interesting parts that can be used in other sets if you decide to swap some things out, like the hat and the popped collar. So both of these are really interesting features of this figure. I do love the face with the mustache. It just looks like exactly what you'd picture when you think of a noir style detective. Of course, the magnifying glass. Now he's holding a red fish. So we did some research to think about what on earth is going on here, and we determined that it is probably a red herring, which is detective speak for a misleading clue. So he's holding this red fish, but what's interesting is this mold or this color may be new. So if it is a new color, it's definitely going to make for some interesting scenes moving forward, collecting some more red fish for all kinds of sets. But regardless, I do like this style, and I think that this is a really neat collectible minifigure.
Let's take a look in the corner here where we have the kid in the locomotive. So this is a neat figure, very reminiscent of a couple series ago. They released this captain with a ship figure, again wearing kind of like a almost Halloween costume. So this particular figure I definitely think is a reference to one of two things, and that could be either the legendary Emerald Knight train set, although I would argue it looks more like the Winter Village train set. So again, both are a green color. The Winter Village one, of course, has the red wheels, so I think that's definitely the reference here. And of course, the stylish gold 25 is for Series 25. So fun little set to have, fun little figure to have. It probably makes for a great addition to any city scene if you want to take some shots inside. Maybe it was a Christmas present, or maybe it's a Halloween costume. In any case, we always love ones like this where you get some cool molds and they pay reference to other Lego sets from the past.
Now we're going to take a look at the little mushroom girl. So this is a really interesting figure for the collection. I just think that the fact that it comes with this really cool hat that's super detailed on the underside, and it's got the spots on top, beautiful colors, the butterfly that may be a different mold or different color than Lego has used before. We're not sure if they released a black one that has this sort of color. And then she also has a little skirt, rosy cheeks, a huge smile, nice little shirt with this thing under her neck. So really nice, happy looking figure. We always like when they have these type of mystical type figures. They always play really well for our photos when we start taking them with the moss and very natural type elements. If you recall some of our photos, we have a little figure that we built. This one kind of reminds me of them, could even be their child. So this is a really neat figure to have and really nice details and parts with it.
And right beside the mushroom girl is this Barbarian Warrior. Kind of reminds me of Viking in a way too. What I love about this minifigure is the sword. I think this is a new mold. The hair, which I also think is a new mold. there's a different angle shot of this figure that we see. I think there's some arm printing. We don't have a good look at the legs yet, but what I do notice on the torso is that belt buckle, which looks very similar to the Barbarian from a previous series. And I always love when Lego does this, when they'll release a male or female version of a minifigure, and then a couple series later follow it up with the other version. So in this case, we had the male Barbarian a couple years back, and finally he gets his female companion now. So that's always cool to see. I think this is a figure that can go across a couple different themes. Definitely one that we'll look to add to our collection. And again, that hair piece I think is going to be transferable to a lot of different themes. So definitely going to try and get a version of this one. And yeah, great looking minifigure.
Here we got a bodybuilder figure. Now what's really interesting about her is the fact that not only is there a new weight piece that you can finally add to all the gyms that you may be building in your mocks and your Lego cities, but also there's the branded Vita Rush bottle container, and we get to the figure, which is a very tough looking figure. You would not want to mess with her. And what we really get is the kind of like Venice Beach, Muscle Beach vibes, the tank top, the tattoo that's colored. It's a really nice printed detail. And especially the fact that whenever we see kind of prints on curved pieces like the arms, it's always nice and interesting for us. Other than that, the shirt can be used in all kinds of beach settings, same with the leg piece. The short hair piece and the face is good in any kind of setting. So very versatile piece that you could use in a lot of places for your set and your collection.
Next up, we've got the dog groomer. So very nice looking minifigure. It comes with the scissors. It looks like a new hair piece mold, and the torso looks really nice, definitely with the puppy paw on it. So this is going to tie into our city for sure. Anything that has a pet shop, the modular pet shop comes to mind for sure from a couple years back, that this would go great in that set. And of course, we have a new dog. We love dogs. We love that Lego's included a wide variety of dogs. So you can see on the screen here, we've got little Chihuahuas, Dachshunds, a baby German Shepherd, Pugs, Frenchies. There's a couple different breeds, which has come a long way from the more generic Lego dog mold that they've used. So we're really happy to see a new addition. It's a very cute dog. I want to say it's a Lassie, but correct me in the comments if I'm off on my dog breeds. Regardless, it's very cute, and probably we'll try to get this minifigure as well.
Here we got a Paralympic athlete. You get a medal, which is really nice. You get a little podium with the number 1, so obviously they're a winner. The hairpiece is quite interesting here as well. Obviously the person's very happy, and you get a very interesting leg mold. It's been used in other places. I think it was in the grocery store, but also you get it here now. So nice addition to any city set you may have, and really nice colors, especially on the shirt and the medal.
Last but not least is Basil the Bat Lord. So I know a lot of people are going to recognize this one if you've been a fan of Lego since the 90s and you're familiar with the Fright Nights theme. This is a remake of Basil from that wave. So a couple things we want to bring to attention on this minifigure. First off is, if you're lucky enough to own the Lion Knights Castle set from this year, one thing I noticed when I was building the set, and if you're like me and you go through every page and you read all the comments that Lego puts in, there's a page in the instructions where they reference the Fright Nights, and they mention something like, this castle is being defended should the Fright Nights one day return. Now that set came out last year, and so I'm definitely thinking they had this figure designed and planned in advance and hinted at. And I've actually thought that we were going to see Fright Nights in another aspect, and maybe we will, but it's great to see him here. And really they stayed true to the original. So we've got the original figure up on the screen here. You can see the torso is very similar. It's definitely modernized. We have the leg printing that looks fantastic. The shield is also very similar to the original, but more refined. I do like his headpiece, and I'm interested to see what the face looks like. I'm a big fan of the old headpiece too. This was actually one of the first sets that I received as a kid, was Fright Night's Batlord set, so definitely a lot of nostalgia here for me. I do love that they kept a cape for him, and it definitely looks like a more detailed cape with the kind of batwing edges and not just a straight cut on the cape. Curious to see if they'll also feature the bat printing on the cape like the original did. And I do like how they made his weapon, so I'm not sure if this axe piece is a translucent red or if it's just the coloring in the photo, but lots to like here. What is also interesting is this isn't the first time LEGO's done a Fright Nights reference. So a couple series back, as you can see here, they did another Fright Night that was more zombie-like, almost like a Fright Night ghost, but you can tell by the shield and the armor that it was intended to be a reference to the original Fright Nights. So very cool that he makes a return. Very lucky to have, I would say, 3 medieval minifigures in this wave, and definitely goes without saying one of my favorite of the bunch.
Here's a final look at all 12 minifigures of this series. They all look great. Hopefully you enjoyed the video going through all of them. Just looking here at them, I have to say my favorite is probably the Forestman of the Goat. I love taking pictures of the Forestman of the Goat. Those scenes always end up looking good.
And if I had to pick a favorite, it's probably Basil. Again, I'm a big fan of 90s Lego, so to see it return and get modernized is just awesome. So that's it, guys. Those are the figures. And one more thing before we go. Here's a look at the box that the figures are going to be coming out in. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is the first series that we're going to see cardboard square boxes, so no more packets, which is unfortunately going to make it tricky to feel these figures. On the plus side, there's a lot of great figures, so if you randomly pick, you'll probably get some that you like. And please check out the comments, let us know what you think, let us know which minifigure's your favorite, and as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and see you next time.
Thank you for watching.